I'm Ben Silverio.
I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's time to party. Ooh-wee.
We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Today's episode is recorded on February 19th, 2024. Let's talk about this movie.
Let's do it. Party people, you are in for a treat today. If you are just joining us, if you somehow skipped our drinking and smoking rule episode, which, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, go back.
Come on. Do it. If you missed out on that, we are talking about the 2006 quote unquote classic, Click, starring Adam Sandler.
It's legally a film.
Oh man.
No, that's
See, it's
too harsh.
already
That's too
started.
harsh.
All right. But if you don't know anything about this movie, here's what our good friends at Rotten Tomatoes say about it. Michael Newman seems to have it all, but his wife Donna is increasingly frustrated by the amount of time he has to spend at work. Michael cannot find time to be at home until he meets an eccentric inventor who gives him a universal remote that controls time. At first, he happily skips the boring times until he realizes the remote is in control of his life, and he learns to cherish all the precious moments with his family. I would just like to point out that the first bit on Rotten Tomatoes, under what to know and the critics' consensus, like it's right under the tomato meter, which, by the way, is 34%. But the audience score was 66%. The critics' consensus says this Adam Sandler vehicle, see, it is a vehicle, borrows shamelessly from It's a Wonderful Life and Back to the Future, and fails to produce the necessary laughs that would forgive such imitation. And I feel like that's a good point to start with because of how Ansel feels about this.
It really does cover my feelings in a lot of ways. I would like to start on a positive note. I do have one note here on my list that says I had one legitimate laugh, and it was when you combine yodels with mass quantities of cough syrup, you get acid. That one got me. I really thought that was funny.
So my relationship to this movie is that I remember watching it in theaters. So 2006, I was pretty young, right? So like I was in high school. And I remember this movie being really touching, you know, and like feeling like oh wow, this is a really eye-opening moment, you know, and it's delivered in this, like, you know, I don't want to say average, but like this generic comedy, right? Because like it's not like Adam Sandler was churning out you know, high art pieces at this point.
No.
But like, you know, he did some fun movies. He was a big part of my childhood. You know, I remember Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore being huge parts of my childhood, and like I can probably still quote the majority of those movies if I'm watching them. But more recently, you know, much later on in life, I've come to notice that a lot of Adam Sandler's humor punches down. You know, from this era and before. Like Happy Gilmore means well. He's a very well-meaning person, but Billy Madison is a huge dick most of the time, you know, and it's like you don't need to punch down to be funny. And that's something that I've come to appreciate more as I got older. But when this movie came out and when I was more of a fan of Adam Sandler, it was like he still does really good work. Like I love The Wedding Singer, you know, The Eternal Sunshine is a really good movie. Oh my god, the movie that I'm probably never going to watch again because it was so fucking sad, Uncut Gems. Sandler has range when he tries, you know, like even Funny People has a good amount of heart, right?
Yeah.
But you know, in my much younger years, I thought that this movie had a lot more heart than his other work, really. which I guess is kind of true.
Yeah.
But, you know, through the miracle of time travel, and I guess with the benefit of hindsight,
as you travel forward in time at a rate of 1 second per second.
Exactly. You know, I've come to see the error in my judgment when it comes to this movie. So I mean, when I first watched it, my emotions and my thoughts and my media literacy wasn't as along as say yours is from when you watched this for the first time because of this episode.
Yes, I have no nostalgia for this film. It came into my life here as I sit in my late 30s, unprepared for the childish humor of Adam Sandler shouting at children and being a dick to his wife.
And how are you going to be a dick to Kate Beckinsale? First of all,
right?
Like, you're already punching way above your weight class and you're going to fuck it up?
Oh, God. Like, so out of his league.
What's wrong with you?
And I mean, in his defense, I will say, also also with the benefit of watching this for the first time as an adult, you can kind of feel for the character, right? Like, okay, he's trying to do right by his wife and kids by putting in the extra hours and being really success motivated and focusing on getting to the point where he thinks he will have everything that he wants. He has just fallen for a trap that corporate America set for him.
Exactly.
And, you know, that's a thing that happens to people, and I get that.
Absolutely. The quote that I wrote down was, "Life ain't about being creative. It's about kissing ass, playing it safe, making your boss a lot of money in hopes he throws you a stinking bone."
Yep.
Like, that's an incredibly relatable thing. You know, especially to a lot of people that I know now, who are also in their mid 30s, mid to late 30s. And it's just, you know, we were talking about in the last episode how we don't really talk about current events, but like, the entertainment industry, especially entertainment journalism, is in such a place right now where it seems like nothing is going right, you know. Especially after all this hard work that a ton of incredibly talented people have been doing. But the people who have the money, in this case of Click, it's David Hasselhoff, who runs the firm. You know, they all they care about is the money, you know, the bottom line, and not about the let's say the art or what's right or their employees, you know, the laundry list of things,
the human beings that are affected by their choices.
There it is. And you know, it's just frustrating that this is a thing that we're still talking about however many years after, you know.
Well, and always have, I think,
and probably extent. Always will, to a certain level, but like, I guess
until we get to the Star Trek utopia, there will always be people who have more, who then lose sight of the importance of humanity and abuse the control that they have. I mean, that's just
man, to say that in an election year makes it so.
Oh God.
Yeah. Hoo-wee.
Well, and what an election year too. Like,
yeah. Did like, I don't want to turn this into the political time the number 2 politics podcast, but because I'm definitely not
prepared. Yeah.
No, I'm also not qualified. If you want to talk about the politics in the Marvel universe, I could probably do that, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about some of the things that have not aged well, like Rob Schneider.
Oh my
full
God.
Stop. But also Rob Schneider in this movie specifically.
That was
that whole sequence. Painful. The character's name is Prince Habibu. And it's like, all right, we're making fun of this dude's name. Like, but also just Rob Schneider is a recurring like a recurring player in all of Adam Sandler's movies. I understand that.
Yeah, but I think if Adam Sandler makes a movie, Rob Schneider by contract has to get at least one day on the shoot.
Exactly. And I mean, like, some of them are fairly harmless, you know, like in The Water Boy, where he's just that dude in the crowd being like, you can do it. Like, that's not too egregious. And to a degree in 50 First Dates, I mean, Rob Schneider is half Filipino and he doesn't really play it up, but play a Filipino playing a Hawaiian isn't inherently bad, but maybe the extreme tan. Yeah, but maybe the extreme tan was a bit too hard, too far. But like, oh man, this one is probably among the worst.
Oh yeah,
worst options with the fake nose and the accent, and
so egregious.
Yeah, it's real bad. And it's just like
the characterization. I mean, the costuming is one thing. The costuming is racist on its face with no question. Yes. But then the characterization that they choose to go with is so beyond the pale.
Right.
And I would argue the same is true of the Japanese characters. That feels so reductive of the stereotype of Japanese businessmen.
Sure. At least they got Asian performers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh man. And man, just look how far Rob Schneider has fallen. Like having a comedy special on Fox News.
Oh. Like I had no idea.
I wanted to watch it just to see how bad it was, and I just like could not bring myself to look for it on that platform.
Yeah, no.
I just do not want to support that. And it's a shame because Rob Schneider was like such an important part of my childhood because he's in the movie Surf Ninjas, which I like to joke and say that's the last time that he identified as being Filipino. But like even in that movie, he's like the white comic relief, you know?
Yeah.
But God, it's just so bad here. And you know, now that we're on the topic of like of Asians, right? There's a lot of Asian based humor in this movie that I did not notice before. You know, in addition to the businessmen, there's the kid in the pool. And where Adam Sandler is just like, I could be your dad. And then he starts crying and be like, he's not really my dad, right? And then later on, they see that same family and he's just like, I hate that man. I'm just like, why are you picking on Asians so much, dude? Like,
at least
why are they so much the butts of jokes?
Asian-ness.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just the wrong kid. Like that one, that might be the most acceptable of the Asian jokes in this film, purely because that wasn't the focus of the thing.
But the fact that there were multiple Asian jokes, you know, like that you have to even put a plural on joke for this. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, why? Why was this the stuff that you decided would be the funny stuff? But like on top of that, like casual racism for you know the Japanese businessmen and stuff, and with Rob Schneider, you had a ton of fat shaming, sexual harassment, body shaming, homophobia, transphobia,
Native American dress as a costume.
Yes, there's a lot of things that did not age well, and some of the things that that Christopher Walken's character even says.
Oh yeah,
you know, very off kilter. And it's hard to just like dismiss that as like, oh, he's old. There's a ton of stuff in this script that does not hold up well. But I will say that the message that the movie is trying to convey is still a good one. You know, similar to It's a Wonderful Life, as they pointed out on Rotten Tomatoes. It's important to value your family, and sometimes the most mundane moments can be memorable. Ferris Bueller if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it.
Yeah.
But you would have preferred this to be a much different vehicle. Judging by the look on your face.
I think that the base message of there's more to life than the milestones, or spend more time with your family, that's the most important part, which seems like that's the thrust he's going for, right? His family comes first, which is a pretty milquetoasty moral in the end, but here we are. I don't know. I feel like that could have been achieved with much less complexity, and the amount of complexity that they had, they could have aimed higher, right? You gave us this elaborate metaphor about like, okay, but the part you're skipping is the good bit, or the part that you're skipping is the work. You know, you say that you're in it for the work, you say that you're in it for the time with your family, and what you're actually skipping are exactly those things. It's almost as though the wish fulfillment part of the movie got lost in wanting to be about wish fulfillment. Like, he doesn't get a wish ever. I don't think he gets exactly what he's shooting for any of the times he uses that remote.
Right.
He manages to skip sex 3 goes in, I think.
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
I feel like that would do it for me right there. Like, oh, well, no, this can't be. Nope. No thanks.
But like a good example of the message, I think, is that scene where he rewinds to his last moment with his dad, Henry Winkler. And I think that scene showed a lot of what's good about Adam Sandler acting. You know, like he shows a range of emotion there. You know, you really feel for the character when it all finally, no pun intended this time, when it all really clicks for him. You know, what he's missing by using this remote. And my God, Henry Winkler is just so good.
Henry Winkler,
even before
is
Barry.
Treasure.
You know, like people started to appreciate him finally with Barry, I think. But he's always been very good. He's
always been incredible. Also, I learned in research for this that the quarter trick in the movie is just a thing that Henry Winkler does.
Oh,
that is just a thing.
That's adorable.
That he has done for years.
I love that.
Right? Isn't that charming? Like, okay, all right.
Oh, Henry Winkler. Take a shot for Henry Winkler.
Yeah, how did I skip that? Man.
I told you this off mic, but one of my notes is just Kate Beckinsale, so hot. But like, truly, how did they get her to do this?
I mean, by all accounts, Adam Sandler is actually kind of a nice dude in real life. For sure.
Yes.
So if it's just like Adam said, hey, do you want to come do this movie for a couple weeks? You know, it'll be a good time. I could see signing up to like go hang out with somebody on a movie that wasn't terribly awful on the face of it. But yeah. Man. Oof.
And the VFX, I don't remember them being this bad, but like one of the moments where it really stood out was like the when Michael wakes up and he's fat.
Yep, that was the
where
one
he's like 400 pounds.
Too. Yep.
You know, I'm just like, okay, The Rock did this in a movie more recently, and it didn't look as bad as this.
Yeah, no. Well, I think they just like CG'd his face badly onto somebody else's body in the first shot.
Yeah, which is wild to me because like Rick Baker, you know, acclaimed movie makeup person, worked on this.
So and he was like, clearly in a fat suit later.
Sure. But if they had just made the fat suit a thing from the beginning of this scene, it would have worked a lot better.
Would have looked better, yeah.
I'm guessing if you have Rick Baker already, like why not fully utilize him?
Yeah. I'm guessing they thought that the verity of the actual body would sell better since he was manipulating it so much. But still not the right call in many ways.
So many ways.
Oof. Yeah, Jesus. What a fucking shit show. And yeah, so Rick Baker, I mean, credit where it's due. Like, some of the age makeup really worked.
Yeah.
You know, some of it didn't, but I would say the majority of the age makeup was decent. Like, it sold the change from time to time adequately.
So what would you say is your biggest issue with Click?
I mean, it's Adam Sandler. I hate to say it, but like, I don't have the association that you do with Adam Sandler. I'd never really appreciated his movies growing up. I'm only a couple years older than you, so I remember like, oh fuck, what was the one where he was the son of the devil? Little Dicky or no?
Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
Yeah.
Little Dicky is actually a very good rapper.
Yes.
Even The Water Boy, like, I did not enjoy those movies when I was a kid.
Like, I remember liking Big Daddy a lot more than those movies. Like Mr. Deeds, I liked also. But like these are some of his later stuff, you know, like 8 Crazy Nights was cute.
8 Crazy Nights, I bet, was pretty good. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. But yeah, I think he did enough like things in his early career that weren't to my taste.
Sure.
So, like, that just kind of set my expectation for Adam Sandler. And even when he does something like this, where like the second half of the movie does show a range of acting skill and an intention towards a deeper in message of the film, I still don't know that I got there because I didn't trust Adam Sandler with my time, you know?
So you're saying that overall, Click is not worth your time?
No, I did not think Click was worth my time. When he undercut the final like poignant moment with a fart joke, that kind of I was like, yeah, all right, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, you know, I'm not against, you know, dick and fart jokes, but like time and place.
Yeah,
you know,
and I want my dick and fart jokes to be like couched, as opposed to Adam Sandler has this way of being like, here's time for the dick joke, everybody, dick joke time. And then they do the dick joke, and then they go back to whatever was happening before.
Yeah, you know, Kevin Smith still very much does dick and fart jokes.
Kevin Smith is a great example. Example. And yeah,
but like the way he does it, it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel so forced. You know, but you know, then again, Kevin Smith has a much better grasp of dialogue. I feel like, and more nuanced comedy. I say that, but like, I'm sure there are a million examples of like less than nuanced comedy in Kevin Smith movies. But
I think the difference is that Adam Sandler comes from a sketch background, and has I mean, and it's rewarded him. So like, bully for him, but his instinct is to try to sell a gag more frequently, you know. Like
he wants to keep yes-anding it, you know.
Exactly. So he's writing this like a stand-up set or like an SNL sketch where every 6 minutes has to cycle over. Every 6 minutes you need to have a certain number of, you know, laughs per minute. You want to try and build your jokes so that they pay off quickly. I think Kevin Smith is more comfortable with a longer burn. He's willing to set up a joke and then pay it off 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later or at the end of the movie. And those aren't things you're going to get from Adam Sandler. Unless it's a running gag that he's beaten to death.
Like the duck.
Like the duck, yeah.
Man.
Like bringing a second dog in and they both fuck the duck. I don't...
It's just, I'm not laughing at the gag. I'm laughing at your reaction to the gag.
I'll accept that.
Sandler's still doing stuff though. You know, like his career is still very active.
Somebody pointed something out to me recently, and I can't unsee it, is that recently Adam Sandler's movies are an excuse to take a vacation. So almost all of his movies lately have been on location shoots with a bunch of people that he's just friends with.
Oh, true. That's super true. And like he had to deal with Netflix, right? To like do a bunch of movies. And I feel like those are the majority of the things that he's been doing after Uncut Gems, because that was in 2019. So since then, it's just been like exactly what you said. Because you got Hubie Halloween, Murder Mystery 2, You're So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah. Although I will say that his most recent movie, Leo, did look cute.
Okay.
About the iguana who escapes from a terrarium in a school.
Okay.
But you know, who knows? It's on Netflix.
Like
I haven't seen it yet.
Produced it.
Oh, Leo?
Yeah. It doesn't have his.
Well, he was one of the writers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was most definitely part of his Netflix deal. But I don't remember the last Adam Sandler movie I saw in a theater. Like it's been a long time. But when you said oh god, I actually I remember watching The Ridiculous Six and thinking how fucking terrible it was. But yeah, man, there's just
Do-Over was also a location shoot.
Grown Ups also a location. Blended, which I still haven't seen, but oh fuck, that's right, he was in Pixels. It was kind of cute. I did see that in the theater, but it was like a pre-screening. Oh my god, I feel so dumb. You know how I said Eternal Sunshine earlier? I meant Punch Drunk Love.
That makes more sense.
That's what I meant. Oh, there's so many movies up here. There's so many movies up here. Brain. Oh man, it's wild. Well,
back on the topic of this movie.
Yes.
Did you have any other notes? I threw us way off with that Zydrate extractor comment.
Well, I guess like my.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, my final thought, if you wanted to add something else before this, but.
Oh, I was just going to ask what is the deal with him waking people up in the middle of the night as though it's his love language?
I mean, that's kind of sweet. He's so excited that like he was ready to, hey kids, I got you a bike. And I don't know, I kind of get that, being so excited that you can't wait to give the surprise, right? Or the news or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like that was one of the. I do value sleep. Sleep is very good.
I feel like I would murder someone or get murdered if this happened in my life.
If I just showed up at your door, ringing your doorbell at like 3 a.m., being like, Ansel, oh my god.
Or even worse, just in your bed. Mom and Dad, Mom and Dad, oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. You watched The Venture Brothers, didn't you?
I did not, actually.
Oh, there's a fabulous scene that has stuck with me where one of the brothers, I think it was Hank, comes into his dad's bedroom to tell him something, and he says, "You're on fire. You're on fire right now. I'm gonna turn around and you're gonna be on fire because that is the only reason for you to wake me up like this." And that resonated so hard with me down to my core that it lives rent free right here in my frontal cortex.
Part Party people never wake Ansel up.
It's a dangerous
for any reason. Oh my god. But yeah, so even though I have this nostalgia for Adam Sandler, and can be somewhat apologetic for some of his stuff, it was really hard to look past a lot of the stuff here, you know. And it's like, I know that you should have context of, like, you know, when things were created and things like that, but it's just like, yeah, no, I don't even think this was that good for back then either.
I don't remember this being acceptable in 2006. Yeah,
right. Like in some movies, the use of certain words may have been less looked down upon at a certain time, but it's just like there's a lot in here that's like, bro, that's not cool. Mm-hmm. You know, and like, I don't want to hear this bullshit about like, oh, we're a lot more woke now and all this shit, and I'm just like, no, that's not what this is about. Like,
no, it was wrong then, it's wrong now. We're just more aware of how wrong it is and willing to say something.
It's true. I think that's exactly what I mean. Like, they were just making a complete and total mockery of sexual harassment with Hasselhoff's character, you know, and that wasn't cool back then either, but like, they were just more open about joking about it. Which, you know, not cool. God, we got all that stuff going on with Vince McMahon right now, and sexual harassment, and it's just like, looking back, everybody knew, right? And now that it's just coming out about the degree of it, it's like, it's terrible. So to joke like this about a topic like that is, I don't think it's ever really going to be cool.
I mean, it really drove home everything we needed to know about Hasselhoff and Sandler's characters, that the sexual harassment scene was handled the way it was handled. Like that.
Yes.
It was very effective storytelling to say, you know, what these people are about. And like, I guess if I were to put a defense of Adam Sandler in play here, I would say it's clear that he knows that that's wrong, but he also still thinks it's funny. So like, he knows it's wrong, so he's halfway there. I question him still thinking it's funny, and that feels, I think, goes back to your punching down comment. I feel like that's where he fails to maintain in today's comic environment.
Yeah, you know, Sandler could still have a prominent place in the comedic landscape, but, and again, I haven't seen a lot of his more recent comedies, right? So I don't know how 2024 Adam Sandler looks compared to the mid 2000s Adam Sandler, but yeah, no, this is probably one of his weaker offerings, you know, for me now. Even though I did remember enjoying this movie initially.
I mean, hey, that was 18 years ago.
Wow. Damn, 18 years ago. What else did 18 years ago look like, Ansel?
Oh, God. Let's see. What happened in 2006? I was a sophomore in college. That took up most of my time, if I'm honest with you.
Party people, I think you get the idea with Click. You should probably just watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Honestly, I mean, it's not the same at all, but
it's not, but It's a Wonderful Life is a great movie.
It's a much better film, yeah.
And I'd like to start trying to push people to watch it outside of Christmas.
As well,
it's good. It's a good message anytime.
Yeah.
But you know, party people, if you got more to say about Click or Adam Sandler, or, you know, who Ansel
maybe
fancies,
I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
You didn't pick up on the last bit that I said.
Oh, what did you say? Shit. Sorry.
I said if you had anything to say about Click or Adam Sandler or anyone Ansel fancies. Oh, yes. You can find us on the internet. I am at Silverio20 on Instagram, X, and Blue Sky, and whatever it is now.
And I am at the Indecisionist on most platforms except for X, where I'm Indecisionist, but I'm not on it, and you're probably not either.
You can use the hashtag time2party. That's time the number 2 party to join the conversation if hashtags are a thing still.
Mm-hmm. And time the number 2 party, all spelled out. Thanks to Warwick.
Next week, we come to you with our last episode on Click, but it's, edutainment.
That's right. We're not actually going to talk about the movie very much, except tangentially and referentially, which is probably for the best.
And while you study up and purchase universal remotes or something, want you to remember, be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.